Yo, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Redzone In the Lab. That's RITL, also pronounced Riddle. I am Deuce. That's DEUCE. Hell, what is good? Another episode. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment. If you're on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere else, do the same. If you can get over to YouTube, we absolutely appreciate it. So subscribe over there. I'm in the comments. I haven't checked from yesterday, but I'm gonna get to it today. So please comment on the video. Please comment on the video, and remember about the about the merchandise. The Commanders merchandise. The Revs site is redzoneinthelab.com. Go check out your Commanders merch. You see, I almost slipped up right there, didn't it? Yeah, today we have the president of Bowie TV Sports, Candi, aka CWall, is going to be joining us today. Talk about today's practice and some of the things that went on. A couple pressers today with Dan Quinn, uh, Zach Ertz, Deron Payne. Deron Payne is always a treasure. He's going to end up saying something he ain't got no business saying. But we absolutely gonna talk about that and so other things from camp, man. I mean, let me know in the comments if you're gonna be at camp this upcoming week, which day you're gonna be there, because I would love to meet you if I am there one of those days. And also, I'm looking for some people that's gonna be at camp that be willing to come on the show and give us your take, what you saw as a fan at camp that day. I would love, so just leave me a comment, DM me wherever you are, where I am. As always, Redzone In the Lab. Right after this, we're going to get to more. Man, we've been waiting a long time for this, baby. Redzone In the Lab. Commanders. It's time. Let's get it, homie. Yo, what up? Look, listen, Terry McLaurin, right? You're not gonna have to ask anybody if Terry McLaurin is signed. You're not gonna have to ask anybody because you'll know. That's what Dan Quinn was telling him today. Listen, I don't know. You won't have to ask me. You'll know, and you'll see my excitement. And I know we're all waiting on that news for sure, because I know I'm waiting. I know other people waiting. And that's one thing I don't want to talk about, man, right? For the next 2 months or month or week or another day about why Terry McLaurin is not signed. What's up, Ump? DJ Woody in the building. It's good. I'm waiting for that new drop, Ump. I know it's coming soon. Juan is in the building. Juan will be at camp. Juan is going to be at DC Sports. Super DC Sports fan. He'll be at camp. Look, man, before Candi, while we wait on Candi to get here, a lot of some good stuff today. I mean, like the defense was on one. The defense was on one today. And I don't know, like, after these last 2 days, it was quiet, hear this, hear that. The first pass of the 7-on-7 was a dime to Deebo and this and that. Like, I'm thinking that Jayden probably was talking trash. Somebody was talking trash yesterday. I don't know if they do like some commander Call of Duty at night and they talk trash. I don't know what happened. What I do know is somebody lit a 5 up under the defense because they came out there on one today. Dog Tide, what's good? How you feeling, man? And listen, we got some shorts coming up after next week of all of our new additions to the team, where Dog Tide got a lot of stats for you stat and analytic guys and information that we're gonna drop with them shorts. So be on the lookout with that. Put a lot of hard work into it. We're gonna get in it. What's up, Marcus? How you feeling, man? I'm doing good, hanging in there. What's good, champ? What's good, man? Like, let me know what days y'all gonna be there, man. Cause I'm gonna be there a couple of days next week. That's the plan. And I want to get some fans like reactions on the pod. I want to get some fan reactions on what you felt at camp. So definitely let me know what days you're gonna be there. Yeah, switch over to the 2, man. That's right, you too, Juan. Switch over to the 2. Yeah, man. So like the defense came out on fire. Yeah, all you saw Jayden interception, Mario the interception, Mikey catching the intercept. Like it was all over the place. And there was some good plays on offense too, man. Right? KJ Osborne. Yeah, I know how I feel about KJ Osborne. You know how I feel about KJ Osborne. He's one of my spotlight players. I got him making a 53. If you notice, if you watched the show yesterday, Felix Tremel ain't even have him top 7. I was a little disappointed. You know what I'm saying? But it's some good mid-tier competition in that wide receiver room. So that's definitely a battle that we're looking to watch. Bobby Wagner had a pick. There's some good things on offense too. They said Dorrance Armstrong tried to do some spin move on Tunsil. He was like, no, sir. Tunsil was like, no, sir. We're not doing that here. You're not spinning on me. You're not, that's not happening here. So I absolutely think like these additions that we've made in the offseason is going to benefit more than the actual player that we brought on. I think that's something that we often miss is how effective is that player going to be to the players around him and across from him. So you bring someone in like Laramie, we think about what he's able to do on the defensive side and not so much, on the offensive side and not so much on the defensive side. Where I think on offense, we know he's going to help overall with the production of the offense, right? We know he's going to be able to help solidify that left side, and Jayden is not going to have to worry about his backside, right? We know he's going to make Coleman better being next to him, right? We know that. We know he's going to open up the offense more for Cliff because you're not going to have to worry about chipping as much. With the tight end and the running backs coming out, they're going to be able to have free releases. But some of the things we don't think about is how he's going to help the other side of the ball during these times in practices with the Dorrance Armstrong, right? Like you spent too early, right? This is the same thing from last year with Bobby Wagner when we talked about, I think it was Sam Cosmi when Bobby was, this is one of the first practices when I guess he took a step to the left or right, or he showed pull or run, and Bobby knew where he was going. Cos like, how did you know that? And Bobby was able to tell him, show him how he kind of read his moves. So this is something that we're going to see from Laramie on the other side of the ball that's going to help out the edges on the other side. But that's enough of me. We got Candi in the building. CWall, greetings. How are you?
Hi, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Not for you. I CWall. Do you prefer CWall or Candi? Which one do you prefer?
Either one. Candi is fine. CWall is fine. I respond to both.
Okay. I heard so much like good things about like your presence at camp, and like a lot of the podcasters from our community that had you on the show, they always reduce, you got to get her on. She's this, she's good. She's really, really good. You'll love her. I got to make this happen. I got to make this happen. So I'm glad we were able to come together today and be able to do this.
And thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate you giving me that feedback. I really do. That's very, very cool and
Yeah.
dope. So thank you to everybody who had something good to say about old CWall or Candi, whatever. And I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And the one thing that I go back to is I think during training camp when you asked Jayden about his best friend from LSU that just passed away, I think that question that you asked him, like, how was he doing? I think that meant a whole lot to him and to his family and to us fans, because sometimes we get so caught up on the actual game that we forget about life. And I just want to commend you for that question also. I've been wanting to I said it on the timeline a few times. I don't know if you've seen it, but I want to make sure I said it to you so I won't forget.
Thank you. I mean, that's kind of how I roll. So I think I may have shared in other shows with my colleague, with Scott Abraham with ABC7. He asked me that when I was on his show as well, and I said, I mean, everyone who knows me knows, had I talked to Jayden before that, I would have asked him that, and I probably wouldn't have asked a question in the presser because that's the only thing I wanted to know. But I had not gotten a chance to talk to him because sometimes we can't talk to the quarterbacks. It has to wait until the formal media time, and so that was my first time talking to him since that had happened. And so I typically ask people how they're doing.
That's
Last year I
great.
remember after training camp, it was such a great camp. And I know Adam Peters and Dan Quinn were doing all right, but cut down day was hard. And I remember asking them, like, hey, I know this is a hard day because you've been with everybody for this long, like, how are you all doing? And they appreciated that too, but that's just part of who I am.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that for you and for us and for me. Questions. One of your questions was about second year players. Ben Sinnott, Baptiste. Like what do you see from them on the field? And not so much of how they're going to improve, but how are their contributions of them developing going to help this team?
I mean, it can only get better, right? That's how I look about it. I don't think these are individuals or any of the second year players, any of the players that they drafted last year in their second year this year. I don't think it's a decline. It's they're not going to decline, right?
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, what I wanted to see out of both of them is like even last year, I wanted to see more.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go back to Ben Sinnott. So I was, Dan Quinn kind of slipped up the other day and shared that Ben Sinnott had
Yeah.
shoulder surgery.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. And
Mhm.
it's funny because like at the draft party is when we found out about Quan's shoulders. He told us that. Everybody was like,
Yeah.
huh?
People
What?
can,
But,
yeah, they can break their own news. They can share their own, path. So I was wondering because in OTAs, I thought Ben Sinnott looked great, but he had on all black. And so that's the note, that's non-contact. And so I was like,
Okay.
okay, clearly something is happening, something is going on, but he looks fine. So what is it? But they don't have to report out on the injury, right? They don't have to report on injuries until much later. So I was waiting because I thought he looked great. And that was one of the reasons why I asked the question that I did today around what does that next step look like for Ben Sinnott. And so far so good, but you want everyone knows Zach Ertz. Everyone
Yeah.
knows Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what they did in extending John Bates and how they
Mm-hmm.
feel about John Bates from a blocking perspective. And I tell people all the time, John Bates is an extension of the offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because he really is really good at it. And I know sometimes fans are like, oh, he's not all that good. John Bates, a Cole Turner. I'm like, hey, you got to pay attention to the blocking piece of this. And John Bates was such an active contributor to a lot of those big run plays last year. And so then it's like, okay, Ben Sinnott, you remember all the comparisons when he first got
Mm-hmm.
here last year, all the
I compared him to Chris Cooley. When I watched the tape, I saw
exactly.
Chris Cooley.
That's right. That's right. And thank you so much. I see that comment to both of us. So thank you so much for acknowledging us. And I think it looks great. what does that next step look like, right? So some of that starts, now. What have they learned? Their competition, all of that. Now going to Javonte, it's like, when folks talking about edge rushers, defensive end, I'm like, well, they drafted one last year, right? And you heard Javonte's name sometimes throughout the year, especially early on in the season. So now that you have, some more additions to that defensive line, it's like, okay, there's a bit more pieces around. What does that next step look like for Javonte? So in my opinion, for all of those guys, it can only get better. It can only go up. And they have such an upside. Of course, they all do. But being in year 2 in the same system is going to be great for all of them returning, and the new guys as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing, because again, edge rush, pass rush, Javonte has a lot of great vets to learn from now. He's some good stuff to learn from now, because I was like, okay, so what does that look like for him? So I'm anxious to see what that materializes and how that continues through training camp.
Position battles. I think like we have a few. They might not talk about it as much, but you hear Dan talk about some guy might be starting today, somebody starting tomorrow. Don't pay too much attention to it. Yep. I don't know where he's been, but we're gonna pay all the attention to it. But what are some of the camp battles you see out there, and which one are you enjoying the most?
Offensive line and defensive line. Everything has got to happen in the trenches. We learned that last year, right? We know that anyway, but we really understood for real, the importance of that battle, especially as they got into the second season, as Dan Quinn likes to call it, in the playoffs, right? Plays, series, they're made or broken based on what happens at the line of scrimmage. And, it's such a difference in last year and this year. I always thinking about where I was in looking at the offensive line last year. This year, different.
Yeah.
Right. The possibility of Sam Cosmi coming back sooner than I know I anticipated is great news. But so far, they keep talking about Von Miller being old, and I'm like, look, listen. I think when I was in the virtual backstage here, I heard you mention something about Bobby Wagner. Bobby's gonna make plays wherever he is. I think he had to have a teachable moment with Jayden today. Like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Like this. Oh, I'm here.
So age clearly is nothing but a number to this staff.
Right.
So I would encourage everyone, if your first instinct is to say they old, just take that out of your spirit. Okay? Because Von Miller on that left side was interesting going against Larry. I was like, the right side, he's gonna do his thing. Right. So that's something to note, because there's still a lot of questions about the right side of the offensive line. And I think that's fair. And it really, it's that. It's for me, it's the offensive line. Sure, yes. The receivers, the DBs, because, in years past, it's always like, oh, well, it's created so that the receiver wins the battle. Well, not in a Dan Quinn-led training camp.
I love it.
Because that ain't what happened last year all the time, and that's not what's going on right now.
I love it.
So but it's the lines of scrimmage. Last year, when we talk about position battles, I remember watching some of the one-on-ones, and that is when Brandon Coleman really rose to the top for me. I said, oh, he's good. Very good. And I was so impressed with him, and that's where I locked in on him, and that's when I really get to see everybody. But it's definitely the lines of scrimmage for sure.
All right, Jalen Lane. Yes, like we were talking about this earlier. Yes, he is a 4th round pick, but he was their 3rd pick. So I think that kind of matters too. We saw some little clips today. We saw him returning punts, I think day 1. Like, what have you seen so far with Jayden Lane? Is he getting mixed in with the ones? Is he like having standout plays? What are you saying from Jayden Lane?
I wouldn't necessarily say standout plays, but one of the things that I have seen from him is that He is fast.
Yeah.
Right. And when we talk about that return role, I want to remind everybody about that new kickoff rule.
Yeah.
Right. So you think about, I know I was even the one that was thinking, oh, Austin Eckler isn't going to do returns anymore. Well, he's been back there. So he has been back there.
Okay.
And
That's
on my
news.
show, I do a segment called Use Your Clues. So I just dropped one. Austin Eckler has still been back there. And Jayden Lane, he's fast. Right. So it's the speed, the breaking of the tackles, getting downfield, getting that optimal field position, right, is what I've seen him, really be able to do. When they drafted him, right, special teams coordinator, Coach Larry Izzo was hype. He was hype. So that's all you need to know on that. Okay. Like he can go. He can go and he's you can use him. He work ethic, exactly all of the things in terms of work ethic, learning, wanting to be an active contributor to the team at all times is exactly everything I'm seeing with Jayden Lane so far.
So we know like all the coaches is back, the front office, like everyone is back. I think that's a beautiful thing to have. I think we can expect to see a significant jump because of the cohesion that they have. But specifically David Blau, right? I think he has some interviews this offseason. What's his importance to the development of Jayden Daniels?
Well, let me also say, yes, not only did he have interviews, he was also blocked.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, there it is.
Okay, that's another clue.
There we go.
Give you two. Give you two. We about to go to roll.
Here we go.
He was blocked. Incredible, right? Some of the notable plays from last season he crafted. Right, that was kind of his brainchild, if you will. Not gonna go into which ones, because I'm telling too much. I mean, I'm just playing. I'm not saying. But a key contributor. I mean, he is a part of. Everyone thinks, yes, Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator, but what that unit does, Coach Pritchard and David Blau, they really do work as a collaborative team to craft what is best for the quarterbacks and for the offense based on their opponent. Mm-hmm. Right? If you think about last season, we didn't see, you saw some plays again, but not all the time. Right? They were ready for their opponent. Mm-hmm. Right? Some of the stuff they knew, or some of the stuff, you might have saw like, dang, but it wasn't, in years past, you could watch a Commanders game and it was like the defense knew every single thing they were going to. Like they had the daggone playbook. Like they had been watching the whole practice. And that's not them. They come ready for their opponent. And that's what you can't ask for anything better than that. They're doing their jobs very well. And these are also folks that get very active in practice. You sometimes see Coach Blau, he's throwing the football and he's getting into it and he's running right alongside Jayden and Marcus and Sam and Josh. And it's good stuff. They're so active all the time. It's like they're all going. You could see the wheels turning all the time with them.
You look extremely happy from covering this team. Felix looks extremely happy. The other beat reporters I talk to and I see, they look extremely happy. Everyone just looks extremely happy being there. What is the overall energy right now on that football field during practice?
What we all look like. I don't know who else you talk to, but you said Felix. I don't know who else did you talk to on the beat. This is just me being like,
Yeah, Felix, Ben, a couple other guys. Yeah,
right. Yeah, we don't have. It's no reason to be sad. Right. It's so interesting to that point, right? I shared this with Coach Quinn the other day because he made a comment during the playoff run about when they lost week 1 against Tampa Bay, and they were so upset. And I was talking to him, and they were so upset week 1, and he you know, he was like, people, when he was walking off the field, people were like, oh, you get him next time, or it's okay, whatever. He was like, you know, F you, you're like, whatever. And I joked with him, and I was like, I felt like you were talking to me, even though he wasn't, because I was one of those people, like, just be happy that you're here.
Right.
Just be glad that you're here, kind of person. And I think we were on the ground covering the team when they were so bad. Really just be happy. Like, you know, just being honest. You know, I just try to be, that is one of the things I try to be very authentic and just truthful with the fan base. And, you know, and this is just me telling the truth, right? I think it was so bad. We are happy. And we're treated fair. We're treated very well. They treat the media very well. They're good to us. We've built great relationships around there, you know, beforehand as well. But I guess winning does cure everything. But then you see people that you see, and I made a post yesterday, which I hope didn't anybody, you know, take the wrong way. But I was like, my blood pressure is going up. You know, Frankie Louisville is out here. I mean, the defensive line,
They're doing too much. Slow down. I saw that.
I need to move. I made the decision. It's my choice. I said, I'm going to go over there by the defensive line because I didn't look at them didn't go over there. And I was like, maybe this was a mistake. I'm going to go over, you know, because they're stressing me out in a good way, though. That's like, what am I watching? And I'm like, I'm watching people who love to compete, love to play football, love being a Washington Commander. That's what I'm watching. And it is rubbing off on the rest of us.
Rapid questions. Who is your top 4 running backs going into the season?
Top 4? Top 4 running backs?
And go by playing time.
Oh, going by playing time? Well, I mean, your 1 and your 2 is still it's Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler. You gotta have Bill. You know, every time I call him Ja'Cory, he's Bill. Yeah. So Bill, and I'm gonna still stick with 4 Jeremy McNichols.
Okay.
Jeremy McNichols, not in the NFC Championship game, but Jeremy McNichols was
he contributed a lot.
Yeah. He stepped up and stepped in at some critical times, and he made such an impact on special teams as well. I think that's the 4. Now, I don't know, because I could be wrong, because, you know, still Chris Rodriguez, Kaz Allen is now in that group.
I heard he got bigger.
Who's that? Which one?
Kaz Allen?
Gotten bigger. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I heard he got bigger. Yeah. That's cool.
So I still think, B-Rob and Austin are still your 1 and your 2. And then Ja'Cory and McNichols.
And the last rapid question. When it comes to Marshawn, Mikey, Amos, I'm going to throw a Noah Igbo in there. Which one of those guys is going to stand out the most on that defense this year?
Trey Amos.
That's big, Candi.
We
saw what Mikey is.
They done messed around. I said it today. I think Felix and I were joking. I said, oh, they done messed around and got him one.
Look at her face. I love it.
And even when he's quiet, he's loud. And then let's be clear. There is Mikey Sanders still in Marshawn Lattimore. What I just said is not at all a slight to them, because I definitely saw them today.
It seemed like they was balling today for sure.
Today was a little different.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I was like, are they reading? I don't know. It was a different day. It was a different day for the defense and the offense. You know, the offense it wasn't their best day by far. But this is where you learn. You know, I'd rather them have that not good day on day 3 of training camp instead of week 3. You know,
exactly.
So week 3 against the Raiders. So you don't want to see it there. So see it now. They're paying attention. They're watching the film. They're watching what the offense is doing. All they're going to do is get better. So I was impressed to see what I saw today. But Trey Amos is, they messed around and got that one.
Candi, I appreciate you. Thank you so much as the president of Bowie TV Sports for joining us. Thank you so much. Let everyone know where they can find you.
You all can follow me on X at CWall SE, so CWALLSE. Make sure you're subscribed to Bowie TV. If you are in Prince George's County, Maryland, the channel is on channels 190 and 1097 on Comcast. If you didn't cut your cable and you are a Comcast subscriber, you can find my shows on the weekends and my content then Sundays at 10 a.m., channels 190 and 1097. And make sure you are subscribed to Bowie TV's YouTube channel. Because we have all of the content, and if you have any family or friends that are Baltimore Ravens fans, we have a reporter. We cover the Ravens as well on the ground. So we're on both of the pro football team beats, and we do some Mystics, Wizards, and there's also other content up there. We don't only do sports. So
yeah, hey, quick story. I cut my cable once like 8-10 years ago, and the stream it froze one time. And I canceled it, and I went right back to the wire. Candi,
thank you. Give it up.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. I know your time is valuable. Everyone in the chat, everyone that's watching and listening, I know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with me. I absolutely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
Man, we've been waiting a long time for this, baby. Redzone in the Lab. Commanders. It's time. Let's get it, homie.